Now the election back and I'll die away. In short, this is what I have to say. Let us forget spites and grudges and concentrate. Come, let us sit and try to relate. Because now, more than ever, we must show discipline, tolerance, and production to build a strong and better nation. I say that is the main foundation. So come, let us work hand in hand, because this is our land. Come, my brother, come, my sister, and let us build a nation together. Oh, yeah,
Come, my brother, come, my sister, and let us build a nation together. Grenada belongs to all of us, and we have to help to build, to develop, to transform our homes, our communities, our constituencies, our parishes, and ultimately Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. We have a job to do. I want to welcome you wherever you are, and maybe you might be on the go with your kids, making sure that they're in school very early, well dressed, with everything that's required, bags, proper uniform, school shoes shining, their lunch, their break, their money to get back home. Maybe you speaking to the teacher. In other words, the first day, the second, the third day, you normally find parents going to the school, dropping off their kids, bringing them back home. It's kind of customary, and nothing is wrong with that. That's great. So I want to say to you, welcome. You might be listening on your phone. You might be listening with your iPad, that kind of technology, listening to the program. Welcome. I want to encourage those on Facebook to please share the live. Sharing is caring. Those on YouTube, do the same thing. Share, share, share. I want to say that the NNP distraction is not working. Everything they try is not working. They cannot take our eyes away from what is happening in our communities and in our country. Development is happening. Transformation is happening. So they're trying to distract us. They don't want us to focus on the positive things that are happening in Grenada. Amazingly, every single time the NNP try to attack any one of those ministers, any one of those ministers of government, they normally fail and it normally backfires every time. So run redhead, was in the Willis area. He was not driving fast. He was not on any cell phone. He was driving through his constituency. Two young men on a bicycle, one loose control, fell and skied. He skidded towards Ron's vehicle. Ron, abruptly stopped. And what was really good about all of this, the vehicle stopped, Ron came out, and he assisted that young man, right, to the hospital. So he got him to the hospital because he wants to be, you know, on point. Precaution is always better. Taking precautionary measures. So he did that. And I remember calling Ron on that very day. And he told me the exact same thing. He said, Kim, I did not bounce the child. The child fell off the bike and he ended up on my vehicle. And I stopped swiftly and I helped him up and brought him to the hospital. Well, the video footage I'm about to show you, and I uploaded that yesterday on my Facebook page, and hundreds of people shared, well, over 100 people shared the video footage, and thousands of people viewed it because it is important. I want to thank God Almighty for technology, and I want to thank the person who made that video footage available, and I want to thank the producer of Ride Along, my very good friend. She was able to source that footage and make it available. So I uploaded that footage, right? And what I want to do is to again show that footage to you, the folks on Facebook and on YouTube, because it is important. I love evidence, I love facts. So Right Along did a piece, that's Junior George. He did a piece on it yesterday. And I want to start off with that. Or let me start off with the actual video footage. And then I'll just play his after. So this is the actual video footage, right? So Ron all right? Sorry for that, is what they didn't see about the young man. But God is in charge. So listen to Carl Keaton.
Rise. Run. Take responsibility for once in your life. Because you're too disrespectful. Every time you end up in parliament and the leader of His Majesty's opposition, you always sit down, hush your mouth, all kind of thing. Open your mouth now. And the police, I want to see what I'll go do with that accident. You know. Because GIS, I'll say nothing will happen. But what about the would-be fracture of the hip? You're talking about man coming down and they fall and roll on the vehicle.
Right. So it's amazing because the evidence from the video actually show clearly, it showed everyone that the young man lost control of his bike, speeding, lost control, fell from his bike and skidded onto Ron's vehicle. So he skied onto Ron's vehicle, on the oncoming vehicle. But another person would say, well, he's wrong, and they would not take him to the hospital or anything of that sort. Just call the police. But Ron did what a good human being should do. He took him to the general hospital and he stayed there with his parent, right, with his mom, up to the last. Ron followed up yesterday. He made sure that the young man is A-OK. And that is what is important. The humanity. The humanity. He did not just say, well, I'm right, and I'm not going to stand up. I'm not going to, make sure that the young man is A-OK. This is what a good Samaritan does. And you see it on display, right? But the NNP folks, they attacked this young man. Yes, he beat you at the polls. He beat you in the last election. We know. You're hurting. You're bitter. You're sour. But oh, gum. Someone meet in an accident. You should first, find out whether the both parties are okay. Because remember, it's not just the young man, but Ron. Find out if they're okay instead of you going and put all kinds of misinformation out there. And one comment that really made me feel good under some of those posts that they put up, a lady post under a video saying, boy, it's not good to just run with anything you see on Facebook or on social media. It's not good to spread these things because now the people who spread all this misinformation, they're looking bad. Those who comment, they started deleting their comments under some of the posts because they realize now that they see the video, the actual evidence, the video evidence, they realize, boy, indeed, this thing is not what Mosquito Man was saying it is. young man. He is a kind person. He demonstrated what humanity should be. So, folks, thank God for technology, and I'm happy people are able to see. So, my good friend Junior George, he did a piece on it, and let me just feature that here too.
Now, yesterday, September 2nd, we received correspondence from the GIS, the Government Information Service, notifying everyone on this press list that there was a vehicular accident involving the minister, a particular government minister. In essence, this story read from the Government Information Service that government minister involved in a vehicular accident. All parties concerned are safe. It went on to say that approximately 5 p.m. on Saturday, the 2nd of September, Honorable Ron Redhead was involved in a vehicular collision with a teenager who was riding his bicycle in the community of Willis. And to understand what really transpired, we don't want to hear what the minister have to say. We don't want to hear what the eyewitness have to say, because that could be contradictory, right? The only thing that could actually tell explicitly what transpired on that particular day and what that particular time is a video. The actual video as to what happened. So recently, our investigative team on the ground in Willis were able to secure a video as to what exactly transpired on September 2nd at about 5:30 p.m. Again, there have been many speculations, but this video will set the record straight. Take a look at it. We'll take it first in full motion, and then we'll take it in long form, slow motion, so we could get a better sense of it, all right? Now, the blue vehicle that you see on the road happens to be the vehicle belonging to Ron Redhead. Now, if you look all the way to the opposite side of the street, on the other end of the street, coming up towards the vehicle, is a bicycle. First, let's play it in full motion, then we're going to take it in slower motion to see what happened. Let's go full motion first. Okay, let's stop it right there. So what seems to be happening right there, guys, is that two young men was traveling on that main road right there in Willis, right? And the first thing that you could see, that the young man slipped, the bicycle fell, and he skidded. Let's go ahead and watch it again from the beginning. Let's take it back from the top again. Let's watch it in full motion. All right, so let's take a look at this video again, this time in slower motion, so we could have a better sense of understanding as to what transpired again. So then the question is, what happened after? Let's take a look.
All right, so the video showing, Ron taking the young man to the hospital. So that's the next part of the video, the continuation of it. Taking the young man to the hospital, taking up the bike, putting it on the side, so another gentleman assisted him to put the bike on the side of the bicycle. That's really good. Really, really good, right? That is what humanity should look like and always do. That is what it's supposed to be. And a police called me yesterday and say that was not really an accident that was created, meaning that Ron bumped somebody. No. That's not the case. The young man lose control of his bicycle, skidded onto Ron's vehicle. That is what really took place there. And luckily, Ron was not driving fast. Thank God he was not driving fast. But the haters, they will continue to hate. And I am not surprised, because there is this venom from the individual who was badly beaten by Ron. Ron beat a guy who spent a lot of money during that election campaign. He got real blows at the polls. He was badly beaten. So he's hurt. And there are a lot of supporters who are also hurt. And they would do anything and everything to make this young man look bad. But thank God we are here. And thank God technology is causing me and you to really see what took place, what really happened, the facts is now before us. Because if that video footage was not available, water couldn't wash run here. I'm telling you. Because yesterday, the day before, Saturday, the calls I got, I thought somebody bonged somebody and they died. But that's not the case. So thank God for the video footage. And sometimes you hear things, don't just run with it. You have to be very careful. Don't just pick it up and run with it. Because it could cause you to pay a lot of money. It could cause you to pay a lot of money. Because Ron could now sue all these people who spread false information on his good name. He could sue them. Some of them don't have anything. But it's always good sometimes to teach them a lesson. And I would encourage him to do that, to pursue that line, because you have to make some of these people an example. All right? Very important. But we will not be distracted, because every time the NNP attack a minister, they normally become the laughing stock, the NNP. Because when the facts are placed on the table, then people realize that the ministers are in the right and those who are attacking them are in the wrong. They attack David Andrew. When we got the facts, we realized all that they were saying was not true. And it was just a document at a workshop that we used to discuss gender sensitivity. Nothing added to any curriculum. No law has been changed or will be changed. Nothing like that. And they turn out to just look like fools. They attack other ministers or beloved prime minister. And every time they do that, the thing just turn out to backfire on them. But let us focus on the real stuff that's happening. Because we know that the NNP, they have real problems. Because my good partner, Peter, understand that you're going up for leadership and you're serious about it. We know that Keith ain't like that. All right? You're like a thorn in the flesh. But let's see how it goes. They have real infighting within the NNP. Real problems. They can't get nothing right. You realize all they can do is just complain, 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 complain. In fact, I heard one of the hosts of a morning program only about, an hour and a half ago, saying, well, the amount of times they complain about the Pulse Bridge over and over and over again. Well, now the government fix it. Commend them, applaud them. Say thanks. You complain, you complain, you complain. They fix the bridge. And mind you, you were in power, you didn't fix it. They fixed the bridge. Come out and applaud them. And that was good, though. It was good. But let's look at some of the positive things that are happening in Grenada. We know the kids, the young people, they're going back to school today. And the free tuition helped a lot of them. TAMCC saw record numbers of people coming to register, students. NULO, same thing.
The government of Grenada will officially launch its free tuition program on Monday, September 4th. The launch will take place at the Grenada Trade Center from 2:30 p.m. and will be broadcast live on the Government Information Service. The free tuition policy has been approved by Cabinet for students attending T.A. Marshall Community College and the New Life organization. Speaking in Parliament on Tuesday, Minister for Education, Senator the Honorable David Andrew, said the free tuition policy will also be extended to the 3-year pharmacology program at TAMCC. Senator Andrew clarified that although tuition will be absorbed by the government, students will still pay for ID cards, registration, and other deliverables. He said his government has allocated $2.5 million towards the free tuition policy.
This policy is one where the government will pay the tuition fees associated with study at TAMCC or NULO, right, or any other approved center in time. And so we know that the $810 annual fee that was payable at the TMR Ratio Community College, that fee will be absorbed through this government's free tuition policy. Further, that same fee will be applied to persons pursuing studies at NULO. So I know it will cover the tuition part of NULO fees, but it will be an excess that will be applied to some of the other fees. So we want to make it clear, we are not saying there are no other fees. You may have to pay registration fees, you may have to pay T-shirts and other deliverables that you may get, the identification badge. We're not interfering with that at this point. But we are happy to bear the load of the 810 tuition fee.
Right. So again, that's a good thing. Very, very good thing. So you had more than the amount of people registering for TAMCC to get into TAMCC and to get into NULO because their parents do not have to find that $810 or that $750 at NULO. That's a real relief for the parents who have their children going to TAMCC and NULO. The NNP wants me and you to ignore that. Don't talk about the significance of that and focus on all their lies and all their misinformation because they're seeking to distract me and you from the positive things that are happening in the country and also the melee that's happening within their party. The NNP right now is in chaos, real problems happening there. They cannot even call a convention. They can't. It's just confusion upon confusion upon confusion within that party. But at the end of the day, every time they attack any of those in government, it always backfires on the NNP. It's sad, but that's the reality. But let's keep with the positive stuff because a lot of positive things are happening in Grenada.
Fully revamped water system, ensuring a healthier environment through wastewater collection, treatment, and management system. The $1.2 million project is a collaborated effort of the Government of Grenada, the Housing Authority of Grenada, and the National Water and Sewerage Authority. The work involves installing tanks and building a wetland system. The Lackalome Wastewater Collection, Treatment, and Management System was officially launched on Thursday. The project lasted approximately 12 weeks and was executed by Daniel and Daniel Engineering and Plumbing Solutions. Prime Minister Honorable Deacon Mitchell thanked the committed team for a well-executed, timely project that will improve citizens' quality of life.
Mr. Daniel, thank you and your team of hardworking men for ensuring that this was delivered ahead of time and on budget. Now, oftentimes with government projects, you are never on budget and you are never on time, much less ahead of time. So I really want you to extend applause to Mr. Daniel and his team for the great job that they've done. So, to the residents of Lackalome and the media who are here, and this really is about the residents of Lackalome. Minister Teleswood, I didn't just see the sewage and I didn't just smell the stench. I actually walked in the sewage on this very site. Because if you come here at night and you can't see where you're going and you walk through, that is the experience I had. So I was almost knee-deep in the sewage. So I understand the enormous patience and endurance that the residents of Lackalome have endured over the last 13 years.
Since untreated sewage won't be flowing into the rivers, the initiative will also improve the marine ecosystem.
We have a collective responsibility to address the preservation of our environment. And if we are polluting our streams, we are polluting our rivers, polluting our seas, then we can't jump on the mic and talk about climate change and the environment and blame everybody else when we are part of the problem. So it's very important, and I'm very happy that the solution that we found to this is one that is environmentally friendly, one that is sustainable, and one that all of us can continue to use and replicate as we go forward.
From a report done by the Board of Directors at the Housing Authority of Grenada, the issue at Lacolome was classified as urgent. Minister for Social and Community Development, Housing and Gender Affairs, Honorable Philip Telesford, thanked the people of the area for their patience while the project was ongoing.
We were able to do this at a cost of $1.2 million in record time. And I feel proud to be able to drive into these parts without the stench of raw sewage. I really don't know how the people of Lacolome coped with this for all of these years. But you did. And for this, I want to commend you for your patience and your tolerance. We are happy that we were able to render a solution to this problem in record time within the first year of stewardship in government. We recognize that cholera could have been knocking right at our doorsteps, right here at Lacolome. And this for us was an emergency.
In resident Jamal Phillips' words, in everything it is important to give gratitude.
It's amazing now that it was just the other day we were here and hearing that help is on the way. Emergency style. Well, this is what they call emergency rescue. Because I didn't thought that it would have been so soon. As a matter of fact, I didn't even pay attention as to how long this thing would have taken. I find it was so quick that today we could stand here and, have an official handing over of this completed project, which is wonderful.
This is the government week in review. Still to come, 8 physicians added to the staff, a fully revamped water system, ensuring a healthier environment through wastewater collection, treatment, and management system. The $1.2 million project is a collaborated effort of the government of Grenada, the housing.
Nice. So we got that there. And the folks in Lacolome, they're happier now. Remember, this particular issue was there for a lot of years. The NNP did not fix that problem. They could care less about what was happening in Lacolome, but it took the NDC under 14 months to get that done, to fix it, and that was really good. Let's move to the 8 new doctors at the General Hospital.
8 physicians who recently graduated from St. George's University has completed their internship program and are now employed as house officers at the hospital. Speaking at this week's Senate sitting, Minister for Health, Wellness and Religious Affairs, Senator Jonathan Lecret, said this is a big win for Grenada's health sector.
Generally, we'll have 1 or 2. So this is really a big win, because we've never had such a huge number. We've never had such a huge number in a long time. So the 8 for us is really good, and they are being rotated now around various areas of the hospital in terms of departments, so that they can find their bearings before we actually have them have a taste of the accident and emergency department.
Senator Lecret said the goal is to strengthen the medical services provided at the A&E department.
In December, we will also have another batch of 8 graduating. So from my medical team, we feel as though that 15, 16 doctors would be enough for us to have a rotation process going, especially at the accident and emergency department, so that the wait is cut down by 3/4. Madam President, the truth is the truth. It's a long wait with one doctor who wants to ensure that he properly physically examine the individuals who come into the ER, or who comes into the A&E, sorry. He or she will take some time to ensure that no malpractice is done, etc. So I understand the wait, because there are times you go in the past, and I myself as a citizen, you have to wait. Yes, and based on the criticality of your emergency, you may want some immediate redress before the persons who are sitting there, etc. So we're looking at a 12-hour shift, yes, and per person, so that we can have them on a rotation basis and have 2 doctors on call at the emergency, accident and emergency department before the end of the year.
Right, so that's a big thing. But you know what's amazing? The NNP will not talk about that. Don't expect the NNP to talk about the good things that are happening in Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. You expect them to complain about maybe one shortcoming or 2. You expect them to complain. You expect them to groan. You expect them to be screaming aloud. But when good things happen, don't expect to hear them applaud it or commend it, because they believe if they do that, the NDC will get the props, the NDC will get the commendation, the NDC will get the applause. That is what they believe. So they are not interested in talking about the positive things that are happening in Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. We have this particular hotel. It was sitting there where Flamboyant Hotel used to be. You know, they demolish Flamboyant Hotel and they build a number of new structures right there, looking good at the far end of Grandlands Beach. 5-star hotel it was going to be. The NNP and the investor fell out, and we know what the leader at the time said about the investor. All kinds of nasty things. The investor took the matter to court, the international court, the international tribunal, and we know Grenada was going to lose again. So it took this administration with the negotiating skills to negotiate and come to a settlement. And right now I can say this particular property is in the hands of the people of Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. So what government will do is to look for another potential investor, or investor who can invest and complete the project. So that is what the government is doing now. But the property is now in the name of the government and people of Grenada. And that's a good thing, a really good thing.
The government of Grenada and a group of U.S. investors that had been working through True Blue Development to build the Kawana Bay Resort near Grandlands Beach have jointly announced the resolution of a dispute that had been under arbitration since 2021 before the World Bank's International Center for Settlement of Investment Disputes. Prime Minister Honorable Deacon Mitchell led efforts to reach an amicable outcome to the impasse, which had halted construction of the 5-star resort 2 years ago under a prior government. As a result of the agreement, the Grenada government will assume ownership of the Kawana Bay project and property and seek a new developer to complete the project, which had already reached an advanced stage before the dispute arose. In accordance with Grenadian law, owners and investors of Kimpton Kawana Bay will be entitled to seek compensation from the government of Grenada for the compulsory acquisition of the property. Prime Minister, the Honorable Deacon Mitchell, said, and I quote, "The government of Grenada desires a fair and equitable resolution with all owners and committed purchasers at Kimpton Kawana Bay whose citizenship status in Grenada is unaffected by this negotiated agreement. In fact, the citizenship by investment program remains active and strong, and we anticipate its continued contributions to the Grenada economy and our people." Unquote. True Blue investors responded saying, "We commend the government of Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell for working with us to resolve this situation in an atmosphere of mutual respect and trust. We have always believed that the Kawana Bay project will make a tremendous contribution to Grenada's economy and are pleased that the Kawana Bay project will now move."
Yes, we'll now move on. So that's a good thing. It is a good thing because, look, we want to create jobs and opportunities for our people. This hotel is sitting in the ideal location, and it will be a 5-star hotel. So let's get on with the development of that particular project. I really love to hear that. And again, it took the NDC, to get it going, to settle and move forward. You know about the Radisson Beach Resort, the lands there. Government took back the lands from that individual that they say they gave the lands to promote Grenada. In fact, the only thing you would see is a scarf bearing the flag of Grenada tied around his dog's neck. That's all you would see. Anyways, let's leave that there. Folks, let me say to you that the young people completed the cricket summer program at Laura. Laura was that playing field that people didn't want to go to because it was unkept. It was not developed properly, and it took the most honorable Deacon Mitchell to transform it. So they had that cricket program for the young people there, and it was really successful.
Cricket program for aspiring cricketers in which they were taught the basics and fundamentals of cricket by Joyce Cricket School. St. David was the first parish to launch the initiative, and the program is expected to commence in other schools soon. The program creator and parliamentary representative for St. David, Honorable Deacon Mitchell, advised the students to regard cricket as an investment in their lives.
This is all about our communities. This is ensuring that we have initiatives that strengthen, build, and grow our communities. And our communities start with our young people because they are the future of the communities. So while this is about cricket, it is also about building the communities, friendship, working together, teamwork, getting to know one another. And I'm particularly happy. Principals, I'm not going to leave you out because if you had said no to the initiative, especially during the summer, and if you weren't prepared to support it again, we would not be able to have the students here. So boys and girls, part of this camp is to expose you to the tremendous opportunities that are available in a career in cricket. And so yes, you can start from now by aiming to be a professional cricketer or someone who works in the cricket industry even from now.
Minister for Youth, Sports and Culture, Honorable Ron Redhead, says the government, through the Ministry of Sports and Culture, will continue to support this initiative.
Where we sit, we see cricket and its revitalization as a critical part of bringing Grenada back into the mainstream of sports in general, but of course, ensuring that cricket is researched and is done in a way most commonly used now, transformed. The role of government, we believe, is to ensure that we build out the grassroots, community and schools programs to ensure that our national effort is something that could be the envy of the Caribbean. This administration is keen to ensure that sports is not just revived, but is sustained and built upon the principles that can carry it beyond our time.
Marlene Batiste, principal of the St. Teresa's Roman Catholic School, thanked the Prime Minister and all involved for their interest in the children of the parish.
I therefore take this opportunity to applaud Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell and all the persons who would have been at the genesis of this initiative. I also give special commendation to the coaches, especially Mr. Charles and Mr. Klein, for their dedication. For apart from the obvious health benefit that playing cricket can afford, it can also enable one to improve one's concentration, boost self-confidence, and help our students to develop such values as sportsmanship, fair play, team spirit, and national pride.
Cricket kits were procured for the participants through the Ministry of Social and Community Development.
Right. Very nice there. Keep it going. Keep it going. Positive stuff, boy. That is what we want to hear. Let me just play this ad for the NDC chapter in Florida. Florida NDC chapter. They have very soon a gala coming up. I think it's important for me to feature. Let me look for it here. Yeah, so they have a gala coming up on the 14th of October. And I want to encourage you to support them, support them, support them. Let me get it here. Add it somewhere here. All right, I want to encourage you to support that gala down there in Florida. They're doing an excellent job. The team, Leslie and the team. All right, Leslie Lyons and the team. So let me just feature that ad here and go there and support them. Okay? That's important. Let me get the ad gala. Nice. Good.
Grenadians and friends of Grenada in South Florida, our beloved political leader and Prime Minister, the Honorable Deacon Mitchell, is coming to celebrate with us at a grand gala on Saturday, October 14th at the luxurious Floridian Ballroom in Pembroke Pines. The occasion will mark the first anniversary of the NDC Florida chapter. Prime Minister Mitchell will be delivering the keynote address outlining his vision for the development of our beautiful tri-island state. Meet and greet the distinguished Caribbean leader. The gala starts at 7 p.m. with a cocktail hour followed by dinner and dance. Tickets to the gala is only $200 and are available from any member of the NDC Florida chapter or online at gotofed.com. Proceeds towards the construction of the party's resource center and other programs of the chapter. So get your tickets now for the NDC Florida chapter inaugural gala, October 14th at the Floridian Ballroom, Pembroke Pines, Florida. You can't afford to miss it.
Right. That's great. So please go there and support that. Get your tickets early. That gala should be very, very successful. I want to say, folks, we have to remain focused. Let's keep our eyes on the positive things that are happening in Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. The NNP, they want to distract us. They want us to focus on the petty things that they're peddling, that they're pushing. We don't have time for that. All right? I will deal with it from time to time, but you need to focus on the positive things that are happening in Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. Our people are way better off. In fact, I told you about that farmer I met in Mount Morris, and I was traveling up to the west, and I passed through Mount Morris. I saw tomatoes, so I, inquired. I wanted to know if he's selling, and he told me yes. And while in the conversation, he recognized my voice, and he said, "Yeah, you Kem Jones," and so on and so forth. Okay. But he told me that he's planning to expand, to produce more vegetables, more stuff, because he got a tiller to till the soil. So it's less work for him now. The government gave him that tiller, that new tiller. Remember, they gave some tillers and other things in La Sogesse only recently. So things are happening, and people are feeling the impact of the good agenda, the transformation agenda. People are realizing that they are benefiting, their families are benefiting. We are better off as a people with NDC in power. And that is what you want in going forward. To the folks celebrating Labor Day out there in New York, I want to wish you all the best. I realize plenty folks, plenty people are on the streets from all Caribbean islands and all around the world in New York, enjoying the whole Labor Day on Eastern Parkway. Enjoy it to the max. Do what you got to do. Just be safe. All right? Just be safe. I know a lot of Grenadians who left Grenada and went up to New York just for that purpose. All right? That's a good thing. If you ask me, it's a very, very good thing. So I will be back with you tonight in the hub, starting from 8 in the PM. We have a lot to accomplish together. We have to continue to do what we must do as we forge ahead together. Take good care. Peace and love. Bye for now. Bye for now.